Hello and welcome to Best Bets. What's going on? I am Matt O'Leary alongside Newsday's Joe Maniello. Joe, how's it going?
Doing good, Matt. How are you?
Doing pretty good. Another tough week for me, really struggling out here. 12, 29 and 1 after going 1 and 4. Joe, 3 and 2 to bring you up over 500 again, 21, 19 and 1. So love to see that for you.
Thank you. Got to get on track this week, halfway point. Make it 29 and 12 second half.
Absolutely. So let's hop right into it. The New York Jets are playing on Thursday Night Football against the Indianapolis Colts. Colts are favored by 10.5 in this game. Who do you like here?
Yeah, it's amazing. Last week, when that game started, I was probably going to take the Colts to minus 14.5. The spread has dropped 4 points after the Jets' big win over the Bengals. So they've been making us look bad with these picks. One week we said there's no chance they're going to win. Then they beat the Titans, and then we pick them, and they lose to the Falcons. So I'm a little, hesitant about getting too caught up in one game. You should never overreact to one game. And I think the Colts should win the game, probably will win the game. But I think the spread is still too high, 10.5. It's almost as if Vegas is like being that stubborn little kid who's like, no. All right, I said 14.5, but I'm not going past 10.5. I'm keeping it double digits. I think the spread should come down closer to kickoff. I think it should be more like 7.5, 8. I like the Colts. I think they're a good team, but they have 3 wins for a reason. They make a lot of mistakes, and they had a 0-3 start. I don't think they should be favored by 10.5. And funny thing is, they're playing Jacksonville next week, and the spread in that game is 10.5. So they do have a couple lesser opponents here, but I think the Jets. Now again, if they lay an egg, I will not be shocked. It's the NFL. Team looks great. They beat the Bengals. I mean, no one saw that coming. And this Mike White guy. I mean, I don't know anything about him, so I'm not going to talk here saying, oh yeah, we all had him. Now there's quarterback controversy. But I think the Jets, they got a little momentum. They got a lot of heart. Stela is getting the most out of the defense. And I think it'll be a close game. I think the Colts find a way to win, 27-20, 30-24. But I don't see it being a blowout. So at 10.5, that's the key number. It's not like it's 9.5. If they lose by 10, then that stinks. But to get that extra half point there. So even if they lose by 10, let's say they lose 30-20, you still win. So I think that the number is just too big. So I'll take the Jets.
Yeah, I'm with you, Joe. I just don't think the Colts should be favored by 10.5 over anybody. And the crazy thing is, last week, as you said, it was 14 not too long ago. And I would have thought about it at 14. So maybe I shouldn't have said that they shouldn't have been favored over 10.5 over anybody. But point being, the Colts, after how they just played against the Tennessee Titans, they're coming off a brutal loss. Now, I don't think the Jets are going to win this game, but it should be relatively close, like a one-score game. A short week, I think, is actually better for the Jets, kind of just continuing to ride the momentum. I think just, any more time just to think about what happened, I don't think would have been a good thing for this team. They're young, so it's hard to gauge where they are on a week-to-week basis. But to me, there's no reason to believe that this isn't going to be a close game. Again, maybe, Colts probably win by, 4 to 6 points in that range, I think. But on Thursday night, with Carson Wentz starting to turn the ball over again, I don't see them winning by double digits in this one.
Yeah.
As for the New York Giants, they will be hosting the Vegas Raiders. The Raiders are favored by 3. How about in this one?
I actually like the Giants a lot in this game. Not only the cover, I think they're going to win the game. It's the ultimate trap game for the Raiders. They were on a bye last week. Next week they're at home Sunday night, hosting the Chiefs in prime time, big rivalry game, and it could be a chance for them to move, grow some distance between themselves and the Chiefs if they beat the Giants. So I don't know if they're taking the Giants a little bit lightly. To me, it has trap game written all over it. The last time the Raiders, last 2 trips to MetLife, they lost 34-3 to the Jets a couple years ago, and then last year they had that miracle win against the winless Jets. So I don't think they're going to come in here and just win by 10. I mean, this isn't the Rams the way they came in and beat the Giants. I don't think the Raiders are that much better than the Giants. They're 5-2 and the Giants are 2-6, but I know it's coulda, woulda, shoulda. But the Giants, they could easily be 5-3 or 4-4. They had a couple of really bad losses, games they had, including this past week on Monday night. I mean, Chiefs were begging them to win that game, and the Giants just couldn't capitalize with bad play calling and lack of aggression by Judge. And the offense, they obviously have some injuries and all, but I don't think the Raiders are an elite team. I think they're a team, middle of the pack. So I think getting 3 points at home, I think it's a good spot for the Giants with the Raiders having a 2-win team in between a bye and the big game next week. And I see the Giants winning the game. So give me the points.
Yeah, I like the Giants this week too for a lot of the reasons you just said. And I usually don't tend to trust teams coming from the West Coast traveling to the East Coast. As you mentioned, the Raiders in their last couple of trips to MetLife haven't been great. The Raiders they've dealt with a ton of off the field stuff this year with their coach and now the Henry Ruggs situation. And I just don't know how much more this team could possibly take before they finally start to fall a little bit. And just from the Giants' perspective, I mean, I think they played about as good of a game as you could have anticipated against the Kansas City Chiefs. It was just some, poor coaching decisions. And realistically, as you said, they should have at least a couple of more wins to their record total right now. And I look at this as a very winnable game for them at home. They haven't played great at home field, but I think this is a good spot for them, as you mentioned too. Sitting sandwiched in between a rivalry game and a bye week is a good spot for the Giants. So I'm going to ride with you on that one with Giants +3. For our game of the week, we're going to do the Packers and the Chiefs. Now, this one might not have as much juice because Aaron Rodgers is not playing. Chiefs are favored by now 7.5. That line has moved to. What do you like here?
Yeah, it's funny. Before I was writing my column before this morning, and the last game I wrote was the game of the week. And it's actually going to make it my lock of the week. It was, I think, Chiefs minus a half a point. So I figured the Packers aren't going to lose. And I wrote something like, the last line I wrote was something like, oh, and they have Aaron Rodgers. And then I checked Twitter, and boom, they said he was out, tested positive, wasn't vaccinated. So to me, I still think the Packers can win the game. Like we've talked about multiple times on the show, the Chiefs just aren't the same team that they've been the last couple of years. I don't know what's going on with Patrick Mahomes, but he has NFL high 10 interceptions. They lead the league in giveaways at 19, and something's not right with them. I don't know if it's Super Bowl hangover or the fact that they only scored 9 points last year, and it's just kind of hit them that they're human and it carried over, or something's not right. And the Packers, I mean, to me, last week's win against the Cardinals was the best win of the entire season in the NFL. Every single game, no win was better than that. No win was more impressive. I counted them out, and the defense has played great. They've had injuries, and they still play great. And I don't know much about Jordan Love other than the fact that Aaron Rodgers didn't like that they drafted him. But I just feel like they got a good coach there in LaFleur, and I think they'll run heavy with Aaron Jones, mix in some short passes. Give what the defense takes it, take what the defense gives them. And I feel like it's one of those things. Kansas City's defense, they're just not. They're not. They can be beat. So I think the Packers win this game outright. So getting 7.5, even without Rodgers, I feel like they'll rally around the fact that he's not there. And I think this is a really good team. So they haven't lost since week 1. They should lose with the backup quarterback at Kansas City, a desperate Kansas City team that doesn't want to go back to being under 500 again for the third time this year. But I think it's going to be a close game, maybe like a 27-24 game either way. I think the Packers could win. So getting 7.5, it feels like a steal. As crazy as that may sound to some people without Rodgers, I think the Packers are a really good team. So 7.5 against the Chiefs team that was just underachieving all year. Give me the points.
Yeah, I'm with you again, 3 for 3 here. And I think they can win this game too with Jordan Love playing the quarterback position. I mean, first and foremost, with the Chiefs defense, they can't stop anybody. They've been giving up points and a ton of yardage, both on the ground and through the air. And you look around the league, especially just last week, backup quarterbacks everywhere have been winning. Whether it was, Mike White, Trevor Siemian comes in, Geno Smith comes in, he looked okay and wins a game. It happens. And against this defense, that's the time to exploit it. And I mean, the Packers are a pretty good defense overall too. I don't think anyone should sleep on the Packers defense. And with Mahomes' turnovers right now, I just can't take them at this big of a number. I won't do it again. I made the mistake last week against the Giants, and I'm off. Yeah, you're right. Listen, I should listen to you. You're the expert here, but
no, I'm not. No expert.
but in this one, as you said, I really do think the Packers could win this game outright, and the fact that you're getting 7.5, almost 8 points in this one feels like a gift. So that probably, who knows? Maybe that comes back to bite us here. But
yeah, probably.
I do like that number a lot at 7.5, so I'm going to ride with you there. As for my best bet of the week, Joe, I am going with the Arizona Cardinals over San Francisco at -1, and the reasoning
that spreads down to 1.
Yes.
Okay.
As for the reasoning on it, I think that one, they were shocked last week. There was a matchup where the Cardinals should have rolled over Green Bay. They're out with so many guys, and they lost at home. This time they're going on the road. Obviously divisional matchup. They do have AJ Green's going to be out with COVID, and I know that Kyler Murray was a little bit banged up from this last week, but I think they want to prove that they are a legit NFC contender coming out of here, because after that loss, the Packers have been gotten a lot of praise. The Rams, with their big splash in trading for Von Miller, they've been getting a ton of praise. And the team that was the last undefeated team in the league has kind of now fallen back a little bit. And I've struggled to get a read on San Francisco all year. I think they've been a little inconsistent. And with the number just being at 1, for me, I like the road team. Usually in these divisional matchups, it's usually tight games, so I like that it's only a 1-point game. Maybe it would, I'd feel a little bit differently if the spread was a couple of points in the other direction here, but I like this one a lot.
Okay.
How about you for a best bet?
So my best bet, and for any loyal listeners who wondered why you went first instead of me there, you had told me first that you were going to go Arizona best bet. And I said, I like the Niners a lot. So I said, let's do a head-to-head best bet, because we usually have so many alike picks with the locals in the game of the week. So we're going to do a head-to-head, do a dueling best bet here. I actually like the Niners a lot in this game. The spread is going down, which is always a good sign. It's only 1. I think it opened at 3, 2.5. Lots of reasons to like the Niners. Okay, so they need the game way more. They're 3-4, need to win the game. First time they played at Arizona a few weeks ago, they lost 17-7. The game was 10-7 early in the fourth quarter, and that was with Trey Lance, the rookie quarterback. Their first few possessions in that game, they moved the ball easily on Arizona. They came away with no points, turnover on downs, interception in the red zone, I think. So I think with Garoppolo back, he's playing well. He's had a big win in Chicago. I agree. The Niners have been an enigma. I'm down on them. I don't know if they're a playoff team, but I love Kyle Shanahan as a coach. They could get George Kittle back in this game. Kyler Murray's banged up. No AJ Green. I think the Cardinals are a playoff team, obviously. I just don't think they're an elite team. So I get what you're saying about, you lose on national TV, your first loss, you come back. If they win, I won't be shocked. But I just think it's a great spot for the Niners here. They need to win this game to get to 4-4. If they lose, they're 3-5. And Russell Wilson coming back for Seattle, and you got the Rams and the Cardinals. It'll be tough for them to make the playoffs. So huge game for them. And I think the first game showed that the Niners can hang with them. They didn't blow them out 31-7. It was a close game. Murray threw a late touchdown pass to Hopkins to make it 17-7. I think the Niners win this game, and I think it'll be close. But I think the Niners win it something like 31-24, something like that. So Niners best bet.
Gotcha. All right. So we'll check back in next week on that one and see how we did for our best bets and keep you updated there. For my underdog, I'm gonna be honest here. Outside of the Jets, Giants, and Packers, there weren't a ton of underdogs that I really loved. But of the remaining games that I felt comfortable with, I ended up going with the Falcons +6 against the Saints. I just think that number is a little bit too high. Especially with the Saints quarterback situation. I understand they're the home team. I understand that they're coming off a big win, and the Falcons looked really bad last week. But that's kind of the mindset that I was going with is, okay, these two teams were kind of on opposite ends of the spectrum last week. I think they kind of go back to the mean a little bit here, and this is a much closer game. Again, a divisional game. Would not be surprised if the Saints end up winning this game. They probably do, but I think it's a field goal difference, like, 30-27, something like that. I don't see them winning by more than a touchdown.
I agree. It's a good logic. Division games are always close. I totally agree. Awesome. I don't like that game, but I'm taking the Falcons too.
Okay, absolutely. So how about you for your underdog pick?
Okay, so my underdog pick is actually my best bet in the paper. But because we have two here, I split it up so I can get the underdog with the points. So this one I like a lot. Tennessee Titans +7.5. Just confirm that, please.
Yep.
At the Rams. Okay. This is similar to the spread a couple weeks ago with the Seahawks and the Steelers. The spread is too high, 7.5. So Derrick Henry, they lost Derrick Henry, best running back in football. I get it, right? Rams added Von Miller, so huge differences. They lose a great player, they add a great player. But the spread before that injury was 4. Rams -4, which makes more sense. I like Henry, but I don't think he's worth 3.5 points. He's not a quarterback. And Mike Vrabel, he's like the epitome of a guy who I can see rallying the troops around this whole, underdog thing. We're in prime time. Henry's not here. They're giving us no shot. Let's go beat the Rams. I mean, they're 6-2. They beat the Bills. They crushed the Chiefs. Beat the Colts twice. They're a good team. I mean, I doubted them most of the year. But Ryan Tannehill, he's played great. Looks like Dan Marino after he got rid of Adam Gase. And they got Julio Jones, A.J. Brown. I don't know if Adrian Peterson is going to play, right? But they signed him. So I think they'll come up with a smart game plan to try to keep Stafford off the field and make it a low-scoring game. I think it's going to be a really close game. I wouldn't be shocked if they won the game. So 7.5, it just feels like a steal. The Rams are my Super Bowl pick. We both picked them. I still think they're, a huge contender, obviously. But let's not forget, they almost lost to the winless Lions a few weeks ago. They were in the dogfight late in that game. So I don't think they got blown out at home by the Cardinals. I think they'll win the game, obviously. I think at home, prime time, better team. They don't have Henry. So even with Henry, they probably would have won by 3 or 4. But I just don't see how it's a blowout. I think the Titans are a good team. And I think they'll kind of rally around the fact that they don't have their star player. Everyone's counting them out. So maybe I'm putting too much into that, but I always like doing the underdog angle. So 7.5 is a lot. So I think it's going to be a close game, field goal game, either way. So Titans underdog pick of the week.
All right, there we go. So to run through these quick, we are both on the Jets plus 10.5 against the Colts. We both like the Giants plus 3 over the Raiders. And for our game of the week between the Packers and the Chiefs, both on Packers plus 7.5. My best bet, I'm going Cardinals -1. Joe is going San Francisco, who the Cardinals are playing, +1. And as for underdogs, I like the Falcons +6 against the Saints. And Joe is going with the Titans plus 7.5 against the Rams. Appreciate it as always, Joe. We'll talk again next week and see how we do.
All right, Matt. Great job. Thank you.